figured I'd look at 10 unreleased Star Wars items. These are these are items that we don't know much about, or there just wasn't enough for a whole video on them, you know. But it was stuff I was like, hey man, I need to work this into a video, but let's just talk about 10 of them. This was a Pepsi can. Now, we all know for episode 1 there was some Pepsi cans released with the character's face on them, but this was around 1997 for the special edition. There was going to be a Pepsi can that had a TIE Fighter and the Falcon on it. Seems like it'd be pretty cool. Let's take a look at that. Again, I don't really have much more to add than what you see here. It's a can with a Falcon and a couple of TIE Fighters. A regular TIE Fighter and a Darth Vader TIE Fighter. That's pretty cool. I think it actually looks better than some of those cans with the character's face on them. I used to have all those cans. I think I ended up throwing them away. I think they just got someone busted over time. Anyway, here's something, we're not even sure what this is. It's done by Kenner, or at least done for Kenner. And it looks like some kind of store header. But we have no real information on what this was going to be used for. But it's pretty cool. It would look great on a junk room wall. For real, take a look. Isn't this a great looking art piece? You have Luke in his Jedi outfit, not his indoor outfit, on a speeder bike. I'm guessing that's because that's the Luke that was at retail at the time. And you have Chewbacca down on his knees firing a laser gun. You got R2 and 3PO coming out of a hole in a tree. You got one stormtrooper with a big old gun. You got another biker scout back in the back. You got, well, you know what's all here. I'm not going to tell you what's all on here. It looks cool. But sadly, there's no Han Solo or Princess Leia. What's up with that? So again, we don't really know what that art was going to be used for. Probably at some display at toy stores or something. But it's very cool to say the least. So let's take a look. Let me scratch my ear. Y'all probably don't want to see that. Now, I wasn't going to talk about figure stuff that I could do a whole video on. And I think I touched on this during a video about the unreleased micro collection. I did a whole video about the Star Wars micro collection. So check that out. I'm pretty sure I talked about that there, because I talked about unreleased stuff on the line. So I kind of threw this one in as a plug for the other video. I'll link it in the little box, one of these little boxes. But check this out. This is the Hoth chamber. You know when Luke was in that big jar and he had his diaper on and he was trying to get him back healthy? Not really sure what the water did to make him healthy. It would have came with a Luke in his diaper. That's right, a figure of Luke in the diaper. An FX7, everyone's favorite droid. A 3PO and a 2-1B. Yeah, you heard me right. A 2-1B. As you can see, it got as far as having a box for it. But sadly, this was never released. Would have been cool if it did. If you didn't have the Star Wars micro collection growing up, they were very cool. You know, there was plans for a Jedi one, but they got canceled because the Empire line didn't sell that great. But I don't know why. These toys were awesome. Here's something else that didn't get released, and I probably wouldn't have bought it, but maybe you would have. This was released around 1985 for the Droids cartoon, a Droids cartoon coloring book. Now, one did get released in the UK, but the US never did get one. But we almost did. And if we did, it would have looked like this. The Star Wars Droid Adventures of R2 and 3PO coloring book. And it has a little display box for it. Again, nothing I would have been really crazy about, you know. And here's another thing. You know, in 1985, the Star Wars figures, then called Star Wars Power of the Force, came with coins. And you could collect them all, but you had to do something with them, right? You couldn't just sit them up on your desk or throw them in a sock drawer. You had to keep them somewhere cool. And there was planned to have a little album book, a little booklet to put all your coins in. Sadly, that never got released, but we do have a photo of what we could have got. Here it is, the Star Wars Power of the Force Coin Collector's Album. You just open it up and it has little places to put your coin. See what I'm talking about? I couldn't do a whole video on that. What about a store display? You want to look at a store display that didn't get released? Well, everybody remembers the Star Wars large action figures, which many of us in the collector's world call 12-inch figures. Although a lot of them in the line wasn't 12 inches, we still called it that. There was going to be a store display that held these, and this is what it would have looked like when you went to your local Zayre's. It has a Darth Vader at the top, looking all menacing. And as you can see, you put the figures right on it. It's a pretty cool, it's just a generic display box, but I thought you guys might like to check it out. Now, let's say you wasn't into the Star Wars movies, but you really got into the Star Wars Droids cartoon, and you bought all the figures, all, what is it, 6 or 7 of them, wasn't many of them, and you needed to carry them, but you didn't want to stick them in your pocket. Well, you could have bought a carrying case that held more figures than the action figure line had. They were going to do the 3PO head. Vader was a huge hit, of course, with the Empire Strikes Back line, and they did do a 3PO head. But this was more of a cheaper plastic yellow than the 3PO we got for the movie line. This is what it would have looked like. The C3PO collector's case, look at this, holds 40 Star Wars figures. So you was going to have to put more than just your droids and Ewok figures into this thing. It also would have came with a Star Wars map of the planets. Woo! Exciting! Now let's talk about something I wanted, I wish I had. Of course, I didn't want it then because I didn't know about it. But this, I need this now. Who out there has this? Why didn't they release this? 1983, they were going to release a plush doll of Salacious Be Crumb. You know, the lizard pet that sat on top of Jabba. I love that character. Wouldn't he be great to have on my action figure show or something instead of Larry the Wampa? No offense, Larry.
None taken. I don't blame you. That's pretty cool.
We could still have Larry on it, but to have a doll of Salacious Crumb, you know, shooting out some wisecracks, that would be awesome. Let's take a look at it. And here it is, the front and back of the Salacious Be doll that we never got. And if you had a fat mom, you could sit it on your mom's stomach and she could be Jabba. It would have been a lot of fun for sure. The only thing that would have made that even cooler if it talked or laughed when you pushed the belly. That would have been awesome, but it didn't do that. And now in 1995, when Star Wars was coming back to the toy aisles, we almost got another doll that was pretty cool also. I don't know if it's Salacious Be Crumb cool, but it's pretty cool. It would have been a plush doll of the Dewback. As you can see here, it's green and it has a harness, and it's pretty cool looking. It kind of looks like the head's plastic in this picture here, but maybe it's just the photo. But sadly, we're not sure because we never did get this plush doll of a Dewback. Okay, let's look at one more. Went through 10 of them really fast. Now, I'm not going to tell you what this is because I'll be honest with you, I don't know what it is. And even Gus Lopez, who runs the Star Wars Archives, who knows all this unreleased stuff and has a huge collection. Steven Sansweep also. Nobody knows exactly what this is. And these are guys that know people at Kenner, but this is artwork. We'll look at some concept art of this Ewok toy line. This Ewok toy that almost got released or was in the planning stages, but we don't have no information about it. I don't know what it is. Check it out. The center of it looks like a piece of wood shaped like a can. And it has, I guess, a vine coming out of it with an Ewok at the bottom and an Ewok at the top. I mean, it was going to be done by Kenner, so I'm guessing it's some kind of toy. I don't know exactly what it is or what you would do with it. I guess you could cram them down into the log and close it up. I don't know. I've looked at this picture for over 17 hours today, and I can't figure out exactly what it is. Do you know what it is? Do you know what the Kenner's plan was for this thing? A lot of time their toy stuff is planned on something else, but I don't know of anything else like this around that time. So maybe you could shed some light on exactly what this thing is. I want to apologize too. YouTube throws a lot of ads into the video now, and you can take them off, but I don't think about it because they just throw them up there now. They used to just throw one at the beginning and the end, and now it seems like if I do a 20-minute video, there'll be 8 ads in it. So I'm trying to remove them all. So if I forget, let me know. Hey, there's a lot of ads in this video. Because I have to go in myself and take them out. If it's a video that's about 20 minutes or longer, I'm going to put an ad at the front, the end, and in the middle. Anything under 20 minutes, I try to just keep an ad at the beginning of the video and maybe at the very end of the video after the credit, after the thank you for the unsolicited testimony. Well, most of you don't even get to see it. So I just want to let you know, if you watch a video and you see ad after ad, if you see like 3 ads, let me know so I can take them out. You know, I mean, the ads help me out, sure, but I don't like the way they just throw them in there while I'm talking. I'm just talking and all of a sudden there's an ad. So I just want to pass that on to you guys because I know yesterday's video had a lot of ads and I just took them out. So anyway, that's a look At 10 things that didn't get released in the Star Wars world.
Hey, Jumpman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.